What's good, Pack Nation? All right, y'all. I'm having super difficulties here. Um, Somebody let me know if we're still in here. I see a lot of comments, but I want to make sure that we're still connected. If not, I will start this stream over again. Just leave me a comment. We're good. All right. Sorry about that, guys. So let me see. I know you all were doing a lot of talking over here. Let me get caught up. Um, all right, so that's gonna be some stuff that we need to cover. So first off, I'll start over. The last time we all came on and were live, there was a group of people that we wanted in the portal. Since then, it's looking like we might not get any of those, which is crazy. I at least thought we would get like one, but a lot of my wish list personally, those were obviously big time spending, and it doesn't seem like we're doing that just yet, which is cool. So I don't think we're going to end up being in the mix for Juke. As you all know, he went to Michigan, and I mean, they're going to throw him the bag, and he has a chance to win a national championship again. I don't blame him. On top of that, Hines, I know he's still out there, but we don't have a visit set up yet. So that makes me nervous. Those are my two. We do have, some other guys. The guy from Santa Clara just came through this past weekend. Doesn't sound like he's going to go anywhere else. So that's probably going to be our first one. Christian Hammond, which is okay. I mean, I just can't get hype about guys that are coming from lower level conferences. Doesn't mean they can't hoop. It's just for me, I don't get hype about it until I see, they can actually play at this level. So we get caught up in what you all are saying here. So Pat, best hope at this juncture is a UVA type build where we're solid with guards and wings, and we find bigs that flew under the radar here or overseas. You're right. Now, I haven't heard a lot about any overseas talent that we're locked in on, which does make me a little nervous. We know those guys can hoop. They've been hooping for a long time. They're grown. They don't need to get in the weight room majority of the time. So I would like one of those, but we'll see. Devin, you want some good news? I don't have any yet, and I've been searching, right? I know we all want to hear about some commitments and, yes, like some crystal ball stuff happening, but other than that, it's not enough for me. So I don't have any good news. David says Musa hasn't entered the portal yet. Other sites want to bring him back. I think he needs to take a pay cut. Listen, I've told y'all how I feel about Musa, right? Musa can go. And if he's staying to take a pay cut because he doesn't feel like going through the process of entering the portal, okay, fine. But he's got to be like our third, fourth big. I mean, our bigs have to be so good that this man never sees the court unless it's garbage time. Like, I'm praying that they don't have him as a rotational player on this next team. Because if we do, we are in trouble. Just know we are in trouble. And then y'all going to have to hear me listening, or should I say, y'all going to have to listen to me saying all season, I can't stand Musa. Now, maybe Gainey can help him out on his defense, and it changes everything. But, yeah, it's the heart for me, which he lacks a lot of. Hill says Juke will visit the UNC. He's still in play, but it's tough for us to compete with their dollars. You know, I'd much rather them go to Michigan than Carolina. I'm sure you all would too. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, because they got a few freshmen coming in, at least two that are like all American level freshmen. So if Juke pops over there, he's gonna be ball dominant, expecting him to be the man. How does that fit for those guys coming in? Maybe they ask to open up their recruitment, or they just sit back and get in line and hope they get some playing time. But yeah, I don't want Juke down the road. That'd be terrible. Davis says no Juke. Don't want players who scored a bunch of bad teams. BHH was a prime example coming from. Listen, I know we got burnt by Brennan, but Juke is different. Okay, yeah, he was on a bad team, but skill wise, he's way better than what Brandon was. So, but I do hear you. Taking players off losing teams, and because of their numbers that they put up, is a risk. But in this case, I don't think he's one of those players. I think no matter where you put him at, he's gonna hoop. Phil Gary, what do you think about Deshaun Good? I know he played in the Horizon League, but he definitely has Goa Pete light type of build and game. So listen, the guys that we are hearing about now, I don't have any complaints about. The good dude, 6'8", 15 points a game, 9 rebounds. Gonna play the power forward, grown man. I'm cool with it. Like, I don't have any problems with that. I'll take that. Like, when you go get guys that are ready to play big, that works for me. I just don't want somebody that's 6'8", scared to go in the paint, right? Like Jerry Dean. I don't want any of those. 6'9" out there shooting threes the whole game. Don't have a single layup, dunk, block. Nah, none of that. But I like this guy, so I'd be cool if we got him. Jack says, I split the portal into 3 categories. Elite dudes who command the most money, high major guys who were in losing teams and were not asked to come back to their teams. So you got elite dudes who command the most money. We pretty much know who those are. You got high major guys who were on losing teams. And then your third category is the ones that were not asked to come back to their teams. Yeah, I don't think anybody wants that third category. Yeah, just off those. I mean, you can only operate in 2 based off of the options you're giving me there. Elite or high major on losing teams. But I feel like there's another, there's some people that are in the portal on teams that were good. They were, for some, maybe they're just in the market looking for more money, right? Like they know their value and they just want to get paid. So that's the thing. So I don't want that guy because a lot of times we can't afford them because they're asking for something ridiculous. But there is that person. A.S. Johnson says, feeling super rebuild this year. Listen, let's talk about that. What is a rebuild? What are we calling that? Was this past year a rebuild? Right? Are we calling a rebuild? We missed the tournament. I need to understand, because I'm okay with a rebuild if we're not, top 4 double bye stuff like we were talking this past year. But I'm not trying to miss the tournament with the supposedly all this NIL money we have. There's no excuse for that. Like we should be able to make the tournament. So that type of rebuild, I'm not with. So let me know what you're talking about there. Follow up, definitely concerned that Wolfpack Nation won't be patient. So I don't, again, what's patient? I need to know how much patience are you asking me for? Are you asking for me to be like, look, like back in the day, we're gonna have some losing seasons, then we're gonna be good down the stretch? No, I don't have that type of patience. I'm gonna just be honest with you. No. If you're asking me to be like, look, I'm not gonna have the number one recruiting class. We're gonna get some okay guys. We're not gonna have any 5-stars. They're gonna get better throughout the year. We're gonna be competitive every game, and we go 500 or better in a conference. I'd be like, all right, fine. But if you're coming to me telling me you're gonna have a losing season in this NIL era, not having it. Yeah, I don't have that patience. So, yes, Johnson, you are right about that. I'm pretty sure I'm not alone with that one. Because says Gainey seems like he wants to bring in guys with multiple years of eligibility and develop them. Yeah, I could see that. So that's cool and all, but to have a whole team of guys like that, yeah, I don't see that playing out. Now, like it was mentioned, that we don't have that type of patience, right? Like you want to have a couple guys like that, cool, but there's no guarantee these guys are gonna stay. As soon as they get nice and start hooping and get the numbers, they probably gonna test the portal, right? And then you spend all this time developing this dude, and he leave. And I know Gainey is saying it's all about relationships and all that. But until he start landing some big fish that he's created these relationships with, then I ain't trying to hear all that. Like, I give you an example. There was a lot of us that thought the guy from Tennessee, the power forward, Australia, was going, he jumped in the portal. Gainey got the inside track. Man, that dude didn't even come check us out. Going already to, Michigan, I believe? Like, yeah, this whole relationship game is, it's a little bit to it, but it's real money talk right now. And if we're not putting up the dollars, it's gonna be a tough time for us. So I hope Gainey got a plan. Hope he got a plan, and I hope it's not this one. Spot on, Jack. I'm just getting caught up here. This is not a time where you develop, guys. There you go. Joshua says Musa doesn't have any hands. It's an understatement. Just all wrist. I swear he can't catch. He can't do anything. He's bad. I don't want him back. All right. Kill says not necessarily UVA is doing it. Houston does it. Purdue does it. It can be done at a high level if you truly believe in doing that. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I'm not trying to prove that. There's always outliers. We're talking about Houston has its brand where with that coach, you're going deep into the tournament. So yeah, I can go there and wait my turn and be nice later on. I see that. Coming here with a new coach. Yeah, I don't know if that's the play. And then with Virginia, Virginia is interesting because a lot of those guys, they weren't there. It's not like they were developed up under Odom. It was like he got these guys from other places and put them together. So until I see a bunch of these guys that are like really, really developing over there, and I'm not just bringing in good players, I'm like, yeah, he just sort of got lucky this first time around, I think. Not he can't replicate it, but lucky in you got some guys that are willing to play together and get all the issues out of the way early. All right, let's see. Devin says, my biggest heartbreak this year was DW. I don't think Wade put him in the best positions. Dude is a baller. Whoo, Devin, listen. I feel like you were so right and so wrong at the same time. No, I'll explain. I do agree that he was probably put in the wrong position. Should not have been playing the 4 at all. As for him being a baller, sometimes, not consistently, and I don't think that would matter no matter where you put him on the court. Like, he has to be not the first option. Second, third option, cool. But you make that man the first option and he's just not built for it. That pressure is not what he wants. He don't have that dog in him, which is fine. You just need to know that he can't give you that superstar status night in and night out. Only every now and then, maybe once every 3-4 games. And then he's going to disappear. So, I mean, does he have a skill set? Yes. But I'm not going to call him a baller. Oh. A.S. Johnson says, 2 or 3 years to build a program. I've talked to so many folks that are still in the red reckoning boat. Whoa. Okay, first off, anybody who was on that red reckoning is I don't know what's wrong with them. You need to check on them if they're still talking about that. First, that's gone. It was gone before the season was over. There was no red reckoning at all. And we are not about to just turn around and start dominating in a conference where these other teams are spending so much more money than us and going after high-level guys. Like, until we land some 5 stars, some McDonald's All-Americans that are on our team, yeah, we can stop all that. We just need to make sure we're a decent team. Because, yeah, Carolina Duke up the road. It's not going to work. I'll tell you that right now. David said, Rick Barnes said it best. You don't recruit anymore. You ask the player, how much? No such thing as courting players anymore. Yo, tell Gainey that. He sounds like he thinks it still exists. Right? I mean, the way he talks, there's some sophomore in North Carolina right now that he's building a relationship with that we're going to land 3 years from now. Right? All right, his 3rd recruiting class should be a beast because he's going to have plenty of time to build these relationships. I don't believe it, but we shall see. Hopefully he is right. But if his former boss is talking his way, I don't see why he don't hold the same energy. Like, how much? Can we afford you or can we not afford you? It's simple. Good point, David. Pat asks, would not be upset with 2026 class project with upside similar to Carter Givens Once we got our primary guys locked in, skipping an entire class if Clore or Carter Givens go elsewhere may not go well. Yeah, I hear you. I don't want to. And we've sort of covered this. I don't want to keep bringing in projects, right? I don't want to bring in freshmen that you're like, oh, year 2 or 3, they'll be ready because they are not staying, right? Like these guys are not staying. These agents are making so much money out these kids. They're like pushing them in the portal. Like, look, you just can't stay at your school. We got to see how much we can get. That's the downside. They're letting them be there 1 year, and then they're like, look, you got to put your name in there and see what it is, and we'll renegotiate, which is tough. So, yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully some of these guys come back to the inner portal, but I'm like, you didn't have to go in if you weren't planning on leaving. All you had to do was say, look, let's negotiate. Your agent probably has an idea what that number is going to be ahead of time. We're just wasting time at this point if you're not going to transfer. Edward says, when you got one player and you're poor, it's always a rebuild. I don't think we poor. Might be a little cheap, but I don't think we're poor. Bear with me, guys. I'm almost caught up here. Joshua says, Gary, originally I heard we were going to be strong in NIL, like 14, 15 mil. Now I'm hearing more like 10. There's a huge difference. Have you heard anything? No. So that's a good point. We were talking right before Gainey. It's like, oh, we moved the number up because that's what Wade needed, right? And so Gainey's going to come in with that same budget. We got the money from the buyout. It's supposed to be like 14. I don't know why it would be back down to 10. Gainey makes way less than most head coaches. Like we got him at for the bare minimum almost. You have that money from the buyout. Like I don't get why. And you raised like crazy amounts right when Wade was like, yo, I'm rolling out. I don't get why the NIL would be lower or around 10. So I have not heard any confirmation about that. That's the most frustrating part to me. Is how everybody's dancing around our resources, right? Like even internally, you go to any of the pay sites and you look at stuff, nobody has a concrete number. They're just giving us these ranges. And I'm like, why can't we get a concrete number? I know maybe you don't want other schools to know, and it's supposed to be a secret somehow. But at this point, numbers are floating around anyway. Just go ahead and tell the fans. At least we'll know how short we are and where we need to get to. Because if you tell us we need to be at that we are at 14 and really at 10, we sitting back chilling thinking, oh, okay, we did enough. I don't get the thought process there. So I'm hoping that this 10 you're talking about is not a thing and we are close to 14. This is Big Gary. UVA got their entire roster back. 0 eligible players lost to the portal. That's what I meant. I'm not saying he developed the guys for this year. He had good retention for next year. I got you. Okay. Yeah, that's impressive. To not lose anybody to the portal is impressive. Now, I don't know what that does for his high school recruiting. I mean, if you're a high-level kid and you're trying to come in, you think you can get playing time, and then everybody comes back. At that point, you probably got to think, let me go somewhere else. If playing time was important, and the majority of the high-level kids feel that way. So that's interesting. I'd like to see how that plays out. But I do understand your statement now. Thank you for that clarity. Chris says, can we get a 4 that can at least dunk? I think DW had about a 6-inch vertical. You're being generous, sir. I didn't see him get 6 feet off the ground. Should I say 6 inches off the ground the whole season? Like all his rebounds, he was on the ground. It landed in his hand. I saw him get a couple blocks, but it was on the way up. He just had his hands up. Yeah, you are right. We do need an athletic 4. And from the options I'm seeing, we'll have that. If we're going to go after these guys, the good guy, the Torrey Austin guy, Middle Tennessee, if we're going to go after athletic grown men like that, then I'm good. I don't see anybody in the mix playing the forward just 6'5", 6'6". All the 6'5", 6'6" guys are guards. I think we're going to be okay position-wise with size. So we might be able to breathe a little bit on that. We do have to land one of them first, but at least the targets are not mini targets. Devin, as a side note, will NC State out rebound any teams this coming year? Seems like the last 20 years, we get killed on the boards every single year, no matter the coach. Maybe Gainey changes that. He should change it. I mean, I think based off of the targets, if he gets the type of guy he wants, we should not get killed on the boards. Even some of these guards seem to be decent rebounders. So if you have guards that, rebound well and you get some bigs rebound well, great. For a high-paced offense, you're going to need to be able to get defensive rebounds. So I don't see how Goins is going to be able to implement, his high-scoring offense if we don't rebound well, because y'all going to be able to get out and run. And then part of playing good defense is rebounding. So you can't play good defense for 30 seconds and then give up offensive rebounds every time like we did this past year. So I'm thinking it's got to be a strength. We shall see. It's so many unknowns right now. I wish I could be like, I definitely know it's going to go this way. But we don't know what players are going to get yet, which is crazy. Like I really expect a commitment by like Monday. But I haven't seen one pop up just yet. Eddie says, do you think the money talk happens with these recruits on their Zoom interview before they come to visit? I think so. The Zoom is like, look, this is the financials. This is what we can offer. Or this is the range we're in. Or it's probably the recruit saying what they're sort of looking for. I think that's, the person that speaks first pays the most. So probably ask the recruit, like, what is your expectation? Right? And then they put their cards on the table and the university decides, yeah, that works for us or it doesn't, right? Or we might be able to swing it, let's bring them in, or, we're not. So definitely have to talk all that out on the Zoom and save somebody a trip, right? Like don't even come on campus if you're talking $6 million because we not doing it. Go ahead and holler at Michigan or Arizona, UConn, one of them schools. Alan says Bangor Doc from Colorado is on Gaines' radar. Will be great at center. I'm going to tell y'all, every time I zone in on a center option for us, they commit somewhere else. The Georgia center I was talking about just committed to freaking Miami. Some told Cyril or something like that. He went to Miami. Hines, I'm still holding out for, but we haven't gotten him scheduled for a visit. And we know everybody's trying to get him. So this guy you're talking about, I feel like we don't need to tell people who we want to get at center because every time we focus in on somebody, they get gone. It's like these schools are like, oh, state want to get you. Look, we're going to go ahead and outbid them early. Which is why I say I don't think the NIL budget is the issue. We might be underspending or being cheap. That's my concern. Think about it. If Paul goes into the portal and is talking about, I'm willing to come back, and we're hearing all of this, he's been offered $2.5 million, but he hasn't went anywhere. What's the problem? Why don't we just pay the man what he was offered and him come back to school? I think we're being cheap. That's my take, guys. Like, until I hear otherwise, and I hear somebody was offered $3-4 million, I think it's us being cheap. B-Rat said, if NIL is not 12 to 14, can't compete with the big dogs. Absolutely. And I don't see, I don't think our administration would set Gainey up like that. Why do our own like that and bring him over here, pay him very little? I know he's a first-time head coach. Pay him very little, and then tell him he's going to have all these resources, and then hit him with the little $10 million and expect them to be competitive. Like, it's not realistic. Why set this man up for failure? If you don't want him to be anything like Sidney Lowe, you got to give him the money. So I feel like we had to do right by him. He came in at a time to save us from ourselves, from this crazy man we just had in our building. We sort of owe him the resources and respect to get things done, to show us he can actually coach. I hope we don't set this man up for failure as a first-time head coach with a limited NIL. That would be so unfortunate. Pat says, Boo is under supporting Jason right out the gate. Butchers his name, and now the money disappears. Listen, when he kept saying Jason, I was like, is he talking about this man's son? Because I think he has a son named Jason. But in context, I'm like, why would he throw his son's name in there? I don't know. Yeah, that was embarrassing. Yeah, he needed a public apology for that. He was tearing Justin, Jason. That's tough. Your boss can't get your name right. David says, we need Louisville money. Signed 2 studs today. Bononga and Shestead, the kid from Oregon, and the other guys from Kansas, I believe. They're big man. Listen, Louisville spending, right? They are spending. So they're not holding back for anything. They go after their stars early, and then whatever's left, they throw at somebody to be like, look what we got already. I wish we were taking that approach. I don't like building solid players and then now you're going after your big dog late, trying to say, look, we got supporting cast. Nah. Go ahead, overpay if you have to for your stars early, however many you can get, and then find people that are in the portal, like, look, they thought their value was more than what it is. Time's running out. Find you some of those hidden gems that way. I really don't like going and getting a bunch of solid dudes and thinking you about to compete in the ACC. You need some studs. And we don't have any. Hopefully we get at least one. But they are flying off the board like crazy. Jack says, it's important to remember kids just started taking visits on Friday because of the dead period. I don't think we're behind. No, I don't think we're behind. But we're not ahead. I don't think, we might be in the mix, but as a State fan, you feel way more hype about your first year coach having a little bit more success in the portal right now, especially considering all the hype around the NIL budget and resources, right? Why does this year should not feel like any previous year based off how everybody was talking? You got a first-time head coach who comes from a team that's always in the tournament. He's got plenty of experience as an assistant. He's a defensive guy. Okay, great. I mean, he says, he's a relationship builder, and that's what he's supposed to be known for, being a great recruiter. And yet we've had one visit. 2. I think Boswell is from Tennessee is going to be here either today or tomorrow. So that's cool. Like you said, we're not behind, but some of these other schools got multiple commits already. That's wild. So we'll see how this, plays out. Hopefully this week everything speeds up and we feel a little bit more comfortable. But right now, I'm like, I don't like it. As Johnson said, just throwing it out there, but how would you change or correct the current NIL transfer situation? So for me, I really like the idea of allowing one transfer without having to sit out. And then if they want to transfer multiple times, they have to sit out after the first one, right? Because a lot of dudes don't want to sit out. I mean, that was a thing back in the day. Like you have to sit out a year to be able to play. I would do that. And then with the NIL contracts, put years in them. If you want to do a 1 year, cool. If you want to do a 2 year, cool. Have the incentive for it to be, if you do 2 years, you'll get more. If you do the 1 year, you get the smaller NIL. That's what I would do. You want your name, image, and likeness to be great? Commit to me for 3-4 years. We'll give you the bag. Oh, you just want to come here for 1 year, play a little bit, and then roll off to somebody else? Then you have a small amount. I think it should be every school offered that way. But, of course, big bank take little bank. So the ones with all the money, they don't care. Alan says we have a crystal ball for him and hope to hear something soon. Yeah, he doesn't have any other visits set up, right? So my thing is, I go to a school, I'm praising the staff, I'm singing the praises of the staff, the visit, the whole nine. A site's put in the crystal ball. What are we waiting on? Why'd you even leave campus without committing? Just be like, yo, I'm committing to NC State. And then you can go back home. Like, why? What? And you don't have any other visits set up. They don't make any sense to me. I don't like stuff like that. It's like, are you going back looking for some other options? Still filling stuff out? Jack says, Gary, I saw an interview with Lubin. He was asked if they knew Wade was leaving. He said they were joking about it, about if the coaching staff was going to fight or not. Can't wait for the 30 for 30. Yeah, I saw that. My pack says, I saw yesterday P2 never put in his paperwork and is technically not in the portal. So I did see that, but then I started seeing information that he is officially in now. So I don't know what to believe. Until I see something about him taking a visit somewhere, it's just whatever. To me, it seems like some negotiation just needs to happen and keep it moving. Yeah, I don't know what to believe about, because they were clearly saying that, oh, he intended to enter the portal, and it's been like a whole week and nothing happened. They're like, oh, maybe the paperwork is back. I'm like, all these other guys are directly in the portal immediately. Why is the delay on his? I don't get that. Davis is supposedly to visit Maryland. So I heard about the Maryland. I didn't know if it was a visit or just a Zoom. Maryland's close enough, I guess. If he wanted to not go too far, it's gonna be like what, 4.5 hours or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that'd be a good look for him. Let's see. David says, if your coach leaves, you should be able to transfer again. So I agree. However, I think it still needs to be. If you've already transferred before, then it don't matter if your coach left. Like, if you leave, you still have to sit out. Like, you can leave, but you got to sit out. I mean, coaches leave all the time. We would just have kids just rolling out all the time. But I get you. I'm torn on that. I get it. Coach comes in, you don't fit his style. He doesn't really want you there, and you just stuck there on the bench. I get it. So, yeah, I'm cool with that. If every time you transfer, it's only because the coach left and new coach came in and, you all weren't a fit, cool. I don't have a problem with that. It'd be tough if you're having a new coach every year, though. That's wild. Joshua says, supposedly new laws coming up in the fall with one free transfer if judges don't hold it up or throw it out. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Golden Art says, he's not a loud recruiter, privately setting up for a dream team. Don't hate on Gainey. No hate. No hate. It's too early for me to be hating on him. I don't think anybody's hating on him. We can always want for more, right? Like, he can give us a little bit. I'm not asking for him to have like a top recruiting class, top portal class, be on the level of Duke and all these other schools. That's not what I'm asking for. But I am asking for him to get like somebody that everybody else wants, right? If you tell me that your strength is relationship building and it's not always about the money, then you should be able to steal some of these people from other schools without having the biggest bag. Simple as that. That's only if you believe that the relationships matter. Because if that's not the case, you continue to lose out on these people. But we're going to give them some time and see. Yep. MBS Wolf says Gainey may need a season or two as a head coach before kids will trust that his system can make them more valuable in the portal. May have to overpay this year. I wish you would say it louder for the people in the back. You will have to overpay. Until you have something tangible to be like, look, this is what I've done. You are going to have to overpay. So why are we being cheap? Like, we should be in a scenario by the end of this portal that they're sending out emails and text messages trying to fundraise more money because we ran out. Right? I'd be okay with that scenario. It's like, oh man, we got such and such and such and such. We got this guy at the center and we got a backup for him. And our team is top heavy. We need just a little bit more money to get some decent players. That is okay with me. I can see where the money went. But if you bring me a bunch of B-list guys and then you tell me our NIL was 14 mil, now we got a problem. And then you're going to ask me for some more money. I'm like, nah, I don't like how the money being spent. And that's another thing. Who is the GM? Like, I know they kept Patrick Stacey or whoever, whatever his name is. But we don't have a GM, to my understanding. You all correct me if I'm wrong. Do we have a GM? Because I haven't found his name. Pack, any info on Carter Givens? Is he still coming? And somebody said no, he's gone. Bruce says no, Carter Givens gone. Is he following Wade? I don't know. I haven't seen anything on him. James said, until state spends necessary money to acquire top-level talent, then we mediocrity is what we will allow, or what we will wallow in. No matter how good the coach is, you got to have some decent enough talent. You're right. That's the whole point of having this NIL we supposedly have. We gonna see. I would love to come back and be like, hey, y'all remember when we were fussing back in April because we thought the NIL was low, we weren't spending money? Look at our team now. We owe Gainey an apology. I'd love to apologize and be like, look, we had PTSD from our previous staff. You got to be patient with us. You want us to be patient with you, you got to be patient with us because we've been through it. Okay? Go to Art says, how much will you contribute to this NIL bag to get all these players? As much as I can afford. Good question. Joshua, we either don't have the money or we're being cheap out the gate. Sure, the only two things it could be. I agree. I think we're being cheap. If I was the coach, I'd be like, we're being strategic. Hey, we're going to see how it plays out. But for me, I mean, to not be able to have Paul or Cole stay out of the portal, to me, sounds like we're being cheap. To not be able to keep Juke in the area, sounds like we're being cheap. To not be able to bring Hines back to Garner, should I say back to home because he's from Garner, so right up the road in Raleigh, seems like we're being cheap. To have your former players from Tennessee not necessarily come here and go to Michigan instead sounds like we're being cheap. And I say cheap because we're supposed to have this money. Now, Joshua, if you're, right and we don't have the money, then we're going to have a long year. Right. But I'd much rather know that so I can temper my expectations. That's the challenge. Right? If you know, like Notre Dame, I hear they have hardly any NIL. It's like 2 or 3 mil, right? If you're in that type of situation, then as a fan, you could be like, look, we don't have the money to be competitive. So your team is not going to be great. But if you hype me up, similar to like what Wade did, and you tell me we got the resources and everything is good, all the little pay sites are saying everything is good, what we doing? Spend the money. That's what it's there for. Spend the money. I just thought Slater was still. Nah, Slater is gone. He is not our GM. So that's why I'm like, who's it going to be? B-Rat says still have 9 days until the portal closes. More players will enter. That's what I'm still hoping for, that there's a stud that has not gotten in yet. And when he does, all these other schools may have spent their money by then. They may not have the funds to go after that level of player. At the same time, and the other part is a lot of these high-level guys enter the portal and are going through the draft process. And so some of them are going to have to pull out late to return back to school, and then they have to pick a school. How many schools are going to be holding spots for that level player, right? So we could be playing that angle, is some of these NBA guys or potential NBA guys that are going to get feedback that need to go back to college. We're going to land one of those, and maybe at a discounted rate because of the time of the portal, how, when it's about to close and all the other schools and stuff like that. But, that's wishful thinking, okay? It's hopeful. All right, so I finally caught up with your questions. Y'all were firing them off today. A lot of this is conversation between each other, so that's good. I think I covered everything that needed to be on the screen here. So look, I am going to try to, continue to jump on live as I get more info on what we got going on. Especially I want to hear your reactions to our first commit. Hopefully this guy says something in the next 24 hours. I don't know what's taking so long, but and then hopefully we have Boswell, and then got to keep an eye out for Torrey Austin. Who else? And then Paul and Cole. So as soon as I hear something, guys, I'm gonna jump on. But in the meantime, please continue to like. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on everything else that you're on, whether it's TikTok, IG, Packin With Gary, on all of it. Share the channel with your family and friends. Until next time, Pack Nation, go back.